Hey, this is Raise Radio, a holistic wisdom podcast for women and a place of wellness. Here we create transformations and perspective shifts in the style of oral storytelling, an ancient human art. This show is full of handcrafted teachings of love and light in life. However, it does not shy away from the darker and heavier tales in life. It's real, it's raw, it's Ray. Head over to my website, link is in the podcast description, and get your free 3-email training on how to end guilt around willpower, figure out your cravings, and finally stop the mind games so that you can actually heal your relationship with food. Food should be easy, so let's get you there. Thanks for listening today. Can we talk about pop spirituality? This is just a PSA, public service announcement. Whether you're a practitioner hosting these kinds of events or someone who's seeking healing and has found themselves in that kind of scene, what I'm talking about is spiritual tourism to places like Peru for ayahuasca, sexy spiritual raves and festivals, the yoga and wine, the cannabis ceremonies, and even the psychedelic trippers. This is just a PSA, my friends that are vulnerable and seeking healing. You're just not going to find it there. You will not find healing with mashing together all the dopamine in an environment like that, where things are loud or include substances that encourage escape. Places where the spiritual festival is marketed by talking about what you're wearing. That's not where healing is found. And I'm really sorry. There's no quick fix. Healing is not sexy. It's slow, it's hard. It can't be found in a weekend course. It's not in the next new course or title. And it's not one simple giant light bulb. I found it. I think the interesting thing with people being so starved for culture these days is that we're getting things confused. Okay, so let's take hallucinogenics for healing, for example. So, okay, there is a component, but that's not for the vast majority of us. That's not the reality. There's a segment of people where psychedelics are going to work. That's not the rest of us. There's the people that want it to be so because they're chronic. Now it can be their excuse for doing more hallucinogens or more marijuana. But what these events do is create a community to not question that you're doing it too much. You've created a bell jar of this is okay because we're healing together, but it's actually a distraction from healing. We have this confusion between community and healing. The reason there's a distraction is because healing does happen in community, but when you've created the community around a dysfunction, you're not going to get healed. I think that's the whole thing with intention and being really clear about what you're seeking, and most people aren't. They're just frantic, right? When we're vulnerable, when we're seeking help, when we're feeling desperate, we end up in these places, and if we're just not okay, I get it. But a lot of people end up at these places because they're vulnerable and because they don't know that these places are not for healing. So getting into these places becomes kind of their gateway to it. And one of two things happen. So they get stuck in the loop of, now we're doing this cannabis ceremony and we're jumping from, pot party to ceremony to Peru to all these different things. We're jumping all over the place trying to find healing. Because, well, maybe it's just the wrong group, or maybe it's just the wrong drug, or maybe it's just the wrong anything. So they get stuck there for a while until they end up in a sober group for X amount of time later. The second thing that can happen is there's others that get really harmed in that space. And that gets them into a really dark place. Then you have to start doing your really dark, shadowy work. Dysfunctional places, these dysfunctional healing communities, can become the gateway to welcome people with where they're at. But if we could just stop calling them healing, that would be great. One of the elders I worked with strongly encouraged to go deeply onto your chosen spiritual path. Because a big part of how lost we are today is because people jump from one thing to the next without really deepening their understanding of that one thing. They're not understanding the origins of that thing or how it relates to them, and they're not spending enough time in it. So this elder likened it to jumping from lily pad to lily pad. So instead of being dedicated and deepening yourself to one path or one practice, you're jumping from pad to pad. And it's not our fault. We're so lost, and there's so many options out there. There's so many things that can pull people into the spiritual world, and those are great, most from other cultures, and that makes it very confusing for us. I don't blame people for jumping from lily pad to lily pad, because I did it too. It's really, the root of this is the lily pad conversation. Do you want to do surface surfing, or do you want to do the real cultural healing work? What does that look like for you? So my caution and my purpose in putting out this podcast is for you to be able to take a really close look at the kinds of communities that you're in and see if they are one of true healing, or see if they are one of actual community and leading people out of their darkness to remember where they came from and their spiritual origins, because all of this work is about remembering. And if this has hit something in you, it's okay to have the realization that that is not a place that you want to be in anymore, and to let that space go and find something that really resonates with you, that you can stay on that lily pad and really deepen and remember. Hey, thanks for making time to listen to Raise Radio today. I really appreciate you. If you head on over to my website, www.lutesnutrition.ca, you can get some food for your soul. I'm giving away my Food and Healing Make Stress and Overwhelm a Thing of the Past guide. It gives you everything you need to end the mind games, stop agonizing about whether or not you're doing wellness right, and end your nightly cravings. It is free on my website, lutesnutrition.ca. Head there now and you can grab the guide for yourself. Thank you so much for listening today.